Alright guys, so today I'm gonna show you this beautiful Utopian Fuzz. It's a fuzz pedal with vintage sounds. It's made in Italy, so it's made by FTelettronica, as you can see. So let's pronounce correctly in Italian. It's an Italian brand, so FTelettronica. Intro, and then we talk more about this beautiful pedal. Hi guys, I'm Steex, audio video production. Welcome to my YouTube channel, welcome to my studio, the place where I try out audio gear, could be guitar gear related or studio gear. Today I'm gonna show you this beautiful Utopian Fuzz pedal by FTelettronica. This video is sponsored by FTelettronica, however, all the opinion will be mine as always, and you will listen here how this pedal sounds. So the Utopian Fuzz creates that sounds that you are used to around the 60s and 70s, so very vintage fuzz tone and very aggressive in my opinion. So it's very cool to use this with clean amplifier but also with dirty amplifier, and actually in the intro I've used my blue channel, which is the dirty channel. But before start listening how this pedal sounds, we need to know how this pedal behaves, so nerdy stuff, and then we'll play more here. Okay, so the pedal is now connected to my Orion Studio Synergy core, so I'm sending a signal to my Utopian Fuzz and I'm also recording the signal. So I'm analyzing now the pedal. We will analyze two behaviors. The first behavior is basically the equalization side, and the second behavior would be the harmonic side. I think that the harmonic side will not be so interesting today because it's a fuzz pedal, so will be very aggressive in the harmonic side. So as you can see right now the pedal is bypassed and I have, as you can see, fairly linear behavior. So let's engage now the pedal, and this is basically the behavior with these kind of settings. So the tone at the middle, the expander, which is the gain at the noon, and the balance basically is the volume according to see something here. I can show you basically plus and minus 30 dB of range. But let's start with very low amount of gain. So actually not properly zero, but just a bit more, otherwise we don't have any volume. So now I'm with the switch to the knob, so I can move the tone, and as you can see is moving also the behavior. Okay, so let's start with all the way to the left. And as you can see, we have this very interesting, let me boost just a bit more with the volume, very interesting sculpt sound. As you can see, the sound will be aggressive in the bottom side. As you can see, we have a lot of bass response here. We have a huge cut on the mid frequencies, and then we have normal behavior on the high frequencies. Let's now engage more gain. Let's see what happens. Of course, we'll change also the volume, so I have to adjust with the volume, but as you can see here, it's stretching a lot, so it's breaking the behavior. More gain, as you can see, is breaking more and more. So it's very interesting. So let's go again to the gain lower, is way smoother, the behavior, as you can see. Okay, now let's change the tone. Let's go to the middle. As you can see, I am basically pushing more or lower the mid frequencies. As you can see, when you go up, it's basically like you have a bell shape that is larger, while when you go down, you are cutting with a very narrow bell shape, as you can see. Okay, so this is the behavior of the tone, and with tone all the way open, basically we have very smooth behavior. But let's engage more gain, so more expander, and as you can see, we have again the same behavior here. So here we have very lot of fuzz distortion. So this is the behavior, and of course the balance for my volume. Now if you switch to switch, of course, you can use these two presets, let's say, tone 1 and tone 2, which are basically the position of the tone at the extreme sides. So the behavior, basically this behavior with the scooped sound, if I go to switch, I can see it to the tone 2. So the tone 2 is basically this setting, with the tone all the way to the left with the scooped sound. If I go to tone 1, as you can see, I have the behavior very smoother. So basically the behavior, if I go to knob, with this position, so the other. In fact, if I go now to switch, basically I have the same behavior. But what is changing is changing the volume. So as you can see, the volume is changing because the volume is different between the tone all the way closed, if I go to knob, all the way closed, to the tone all the way opened. Okay? So you have always to balance with the volume between the two different behavior. But if you go to switch, as you can see, we have basically the same amount of volume. Okay, and we will also listen, of course, in the test. Now let's analyze the harmonic side. And here I have basically my analyzer. As you can see, we have only my frequency that I'm generating, so 1 kHz. Let's start with a very low amount of expander, so gain. Let's engage it. And as you can see, this is the mess, because this is a fuzz pedal and we have lots of harmonics, not only harmonics, it's fairly a distortion with very low amount of gain. And moving the gain, of course, will change the distortion. But this is, of course, a distortion. It's not only an harmonic behavior for pro audio stuff. It's really a distortion, as you can see, guys. And if I change the tone, of course, will change also the behavior of my frequencies. As you can see here, with the tone all the way to the left, if you remember, was the scoped sound. And as you can see, also my 1 kHz is lowered, as you can see. So in this way, I'm preserving and I'm creating, of course, some distortion. That's it. So now that we know how this pedal works, well, let's listen how it sounds. Today I'm gonna use my Gibson Les Paul Alnico 5 pickups directly to the pedal. Input is here. The output is going directly to my Supro Statement 1699 RH amplifier. Let's start with the clean channel, which is the red one, and I'm going directly to my Torpedo Captor X. I'm not using any real cabinet. I have 2 impulse responses, and if you are interested to get for free these 2 impulse responses that I'm using in stereo today, well, you have to become a member, and you can see in the community section directly to download it. Then I'm going directly to my Orion Studio Synergy Core, Antelope Audio, and I'm recording with Studio One. So the sound of my clean channel, so without the pedal, only my rig, is this one. So it's fairly clean. It's not super clean because this is a mono channel. So the more you crank the gain, the more aggressive will be the tone. So this is the cleanest sound that I can get with this amplifier. Okay, now let's engage the pedal. Let's start with very low amount of gain, which is basically the expander knob here. So all the way down, let's start with the tone at the noon. So everything at the noon. So this is the minimum amount of saturation that you can get with this pedal. It's like a fuzz with dying battery, let's say. More gain. it's very, very aggressive, guys. Now at the maximum. Here you can listen also the compression of these pedal. So if you play very hard, you can listen also that it started to compress also in the volume. It's less compressed, so it's more dynamic with the full amount. Then we can play with the tone, because all the way closed, we have basically closed high frequencies and more low range, let's say. And you have to compensate with the volume. This is really useful because depending on the speaker that you will use and also the pickup that you will use, maybe you want to tweak more the tone and clean maybe the harshness of your single coil or the specific speaker, because if I go again here, you can listen that I have basically more mid-range and open tone. So let's engage some more reverb. That's freaking cool. You can use also the pedal basically with two presets. So now I'm using the knob. So basically what you can see basically is the tone that you will get. But if I go to switch, basically the tone knob now will be these two switches and will be basically the two extreme sides. So all the way up will sound like this. While all the way down, which is basically the position if I go to knob all the way to the left. But in this way, with the switch, basically also the volume will be matched, because if you remember, when I go to knob all the way to the left, I get this sound. But if I go to the right, also the volume will be raised up. But if I use the switch, basically I can go from this to this. So the volume is matched if you use basically the preset way, so with the switch. So let's now try out it with lead channel. So let's go to lead channel. Let's bypass the pedal. So this is my sound with only the amplifier. Let's disengage the reverb. It's a very gentle crunch channel. Okay, let's use lower amount of gain. Let's engage the pedal. So before, of course it's more compressed, the sound. Alright guys, so this is the Utopian Fuzz, very cool pedal, very aggressive fuzz pedal with vintage character, let's say. So I really like this pedal, and also the fact that you can also use on the way tone 1 and tone 2 to get basically the sides of the range that you can get with this pedal is very cool. So you have the link in the description directly to FTelettronica, also to see all the catalog of FTelettronica. And I'll see you, of course, in the next video. Bye!